Hi everybody! Welcome to another week of Makers Monday. I am Anastasia Radloff, aka Stampin' Blondie, and thank you for joining me for another week of live step-by-step crafting. Now today I complete my Valentine's Day project series. So for a past couple weeks, we've been working on some Valentine's Day projects to get you ready for the day in just a few weeks. So almost 16 days from now, can you believe it? I'm really excited to complete my Valentine's Day crafting series today with a very fun and adorable standalone stamp set called the Love Cats. Now let me just make sure that I'm live here on Facebook. If you're watching, make sure to comment, say hi, let me know where you're watching from. It's always fun to see each week. All right, looks like I am live here, so perfect. Hello Dawn, thanks for watching. Hi Pam. Like I said, today we'll be creating our final projects for Valentine's Day. I always like to do my Valentine's Day projects a month ahead just because the hustle and bustle of things, and sometimes it just creeps up so fast that you really don't have a lot of time to be able to create special Valentine's Day projects, and then the day is here just like that. All right, so first I've got a couple things to go over. I hope you guys had an amazing weekend. I had my in-person Stampin' Bingo sold out event. Stampin' Bingo is my customers' favorite event that I host, and it sells out every single time in person. And so we had that this past weekend, and we actually made different projects with the Love Cat stamp set, so I'll share those with you here in just a minute. It was really fun to gather, have fun with each other, craft, and just lots of laughs and fun all around. So Stampin' Bingo will be back in the end of April. So if you missed out on this event, make sure to keep an eye out for Spring Stampin' Bingo, which will be the last weekend in April. All right, don't forget, Celebration is still going on. If you aren't too familiar with what Celebration is, for every order that you place that is $50 or more, you get to choose an item out of the Celebration catalog. Now, starting next week, I'll be doing some projects through the end of February, creating with Celebration items. So make sure to keep an eye out for those upcoming projects as well. Now, if your wish list is longer than $99, don't forget the starter kit promotion is always the best deal in our catalog. This time we have 3 different options. The first one is the new exclusive. This is the Boho Blue Mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. This is only available to new demonstrators that join during Celebration through the end of February. So as a demonstrator though, I got to pre-order this, so that's why I have it. But the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine is perfect for on-the-go crafting. You can see it is little teeny tiny guy here. If you are interested in the Boho Blue machine, this is an item you get to choose $175 worth of your choice of products. Plus the Boho Blue machine. Now this is worth $63, all for $129. So $175 worth of product, Boho Blue machine for $129. If blue is not your thing, we also still have the mini white Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Same deal for this, $175 worth of products of your choice, so you can get some dies, embossing folders, stamps, whatever. Plus the machine, all for $129. Or if you already own the machine, you can get $175 worth of product for $99. That is amazing. You get anything in your choice. Now there's no pressure to teach classes, host events, do Facebook Lives. No pressure to sell anything. Actually, just about 98% of the Stampin' Blondie team are what I call happy shoppers, meaning that they get the items for a discount. So they are not required to teach classes or host events. So if you are interested, if your wish list is over $99, that is the best deal in the entire catalog, and that runs through the end of February. All right. Also, let me go ahead and swap the camera. So we'll go ahead and do that. Last week, I announced my February Club Craft and Create. If you aren't too familiar with what Club Craft and Create is, this is my monthly in-person or virtual class. It is held on in person the third Tuesday of every month and virtually the third Wednesday. This month we'll be featuring this is Country Bouquet. Just disregard that. We are using Fragrant Flowers. So this is the stamp set that we'll be using. I'll make sure to update that for next time. Fragrant Flowers is our stamp set that we'll be featuring. This is actually a die that has coordinating dies. Now, if you are not interested in the stamp set, these projects can be swapped out, but we're featuring the Fragrant Flowers. This is the Coordinating Designer Series paper from Celebration. So you get a half a package of this paper, a full roll of the silver edged metallic like cotton ribbon, a full package of the black matte dots, and then you'll have supplies to create 8 projects, 2 each of 4 different designs. So these are the projects here. Very beautiful, very pretty projects. If you don't want that stamp set, you can substitute for whatever you have in your craft supply that works for these die cut pieces. Now this is, like I said, an in-person or a virtual class via Zoom. If you can't join us live, it's recorded. You get a PDF project full color tutorial, and the deadline to register for this class is February 8th. So I think that's a week from today, tomorrow about. So we will be creating with Fragrant Flowers, very beautiful stamp set. All the project pieces are here, and it is a gorgeous, gorgeous class. The link to register for that is in the description of this video, or if you want more details about Club Craft and Create, feel free to send me a message and I can help you out with that. All right, next up, as a reminder, Friday is the deadline to register for the Spring Creative Retreat. This is a dual demonstrator hosted event by myself and Trisha from Butter Dish Designs. This is an in-person retreat or retreat to go. So no matter where you live in the United States, you can craft along with us. We will be featuring the 2-tone Flora stamp set, and you will receive a lot of product supplies with plenty of extra leftover items to be able to take home to create more projects with. We're also doing an add-on class with my favorite stamp set in the entire mini catalog, Taco Fiesta. So this is a super cute stamp set that you can put little faces on a burrito, a piñata, a taco. So actually here is a project I made with that Taco Fiesta. Now this is not one of the projects from the add-on class, but this is just a project I made and it was super, super cute. So deadline to register for our Spring Creative Retreat, either in person or the retreat to go, is this Friday. If you're interested in the in-person, there's only 8 seats left. So the deadline to register for that is this coming Friday before we close. All right, as a reminder, each week, if I can get my paper there, I do something called Prize Patrol. Now, the past 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I didn't have Makers Monday, and then last week I forgot to pull the names for Prize Patrol, so we have quite a few to give away today. So the first 2 weeks ago was the Silver and Gold Designer Series paper. The winner of this was, I apologize if I mispronounce your name, Courtney Glanker Austin Darp. I apologize, like I said, if I totally butchered that. But you are the winner of Prize Patrol from a couple weeks ago. Now, last week's Prize Patrol was a package of this fun floral designer series paper from our annual catalog. You get a whole package cut up. Now this is originally 12 by 12, just cut to 6 by 6 for ease of shipping. But the winner of that is Corinne Bouvia. Again, I apologize if I mispronounce your name, but Corinne, you are our Prize Patrol winner from last week. So congratulations to our 2 winners. Now, Prize Patrol, what exactly is Prize Patrol? All you have to do is share this video, comment that you shared, and you're entered. That's it. Sometimes your Facebook security settings don't always let me know who has shared. So make sure to comment that you shared so that I can enter you into Prize Patrol. Now, the item for this week, these are the heart boxes. They are already pre-scored and they have adhesive on them. These are perfect for Valentine's Day treat boxes. They have some pre-printed foil sentiment pieces so you can stamp on them and just put some candy or whatever you'd like in these treat boxes. This comes with 10 different treat boxes and it coordinates with January's paper pumpkin kit. So if you got paper pumpkin, this coordinates with that. So heart boxes are our Prize Patrol for this week. All you have to do is share this video and comment that you shared and you'll be entered into Prize Patrol. All right. Wow, lots of people from some chilly places today. We've got Missouri, New Jersey, Kentucky, Minnesota. Yes, I'm originally from Iowa, but I live in Arizona now, so I know all about cold weather. And I will tell you, I have definitely adapted to Arizona because I woke up the other morning and I forgot to turn the heat on overnight because I had a class Saturday morning and all those people in my house just made it warm. So I forgot to turn it back on and it was 64 in my house and I was freezing. So I am definitely a wussy now when it comes to cold weather. Okay, let's jump into our projects today. I am going to be featuring the Love Cats stamp set. Now this stamp set is from our mini catalog. Now this does not have any coordinating dies or punches to go with it, but it is a very, very easy set to be able to create projects with and fun to be able to just really kind of personalize these little cute cats from the stamp set. Now, as a reminder, each week, if you are wanting these class projects, so we have 3 class projects that I'll be working on today for Makers Monday. If you want to create these yourself, I have a weekly class to go. You can place an order of $35 on my website to be able to receive the supplies to create these 3 projects. If you place an order of $50 or more this week, the embellishment of the week is a Wink of Stella glitter brush. So you'll receive this for free as an add-on as a thank you for placing your order. All right. Don't forget, on my website, stampandblondie.com, each week, Monday, 6 a.m., I have my project PDF tutorial posted. This has all of the item names, item numbers, prices, and the dimensions of the 3 projects that we are creating here today. It also has that host code that you'll need if you want to place the order to receive this week's kits, as well as down here on the screen as the host code is posted there. You can print that free off of my website and follow along with this video here today. Rose is in warm, sunny Australia. So down there it is, what is it, fall? No, I always get the seasons mixed up. Summer, is it summertime there? I can't remember. It's winter here and it's the opposite in Australia, I know that, but when there's spring and fall involved, I always get confused. All right, let me grab my basket here with our projects for today. All right, the first one we are going to start with is this card here. Very simple. This is perfect for if you are a beginner stamper. So if you are just starting into getting into stamping and you really want to create some fun, cute cards, this is what we're going to create here today. This uses the Country Gingham, all 3 projects use the Country Gingham Designer Series paper that is in our catalog, mini catalog. And that paper goes with so many different projects. It's actually tied with the Country Bouquet bundle. It coordinates with that, but because it's just gingham paper, it coordinates with a lot of things. I used it with the Share a Milkshake a couple weeks ago. I used it with this Love Cats. So it's very versatile with its use. All right, so it is summer in Australia. Okay, unseasonably warm. Oh, Courtney, hi. I don't know if you caught the beginning, but you won Prize Patrol. So you won a couple weeks ago. I posted this silver and gold designer series paper. I don't have your address, so just message me your address and I will get you your Prize Patrol item in the mail. So congratulations, Courtney. Thanks for watching and sharing my video. Okay, we are starting with, let's get these two out of the way. We've got our piece of 5.5 by 8.5 basic white cardstock, our piece of that Country Gingham Designer Series paper, and a piece of mint macaron. So what we're gonna do, oh, and another piece of basic white cardstock. So the first thing we're gonna do is we are going to adhere our gingham paper down to our smaller piece of basic white. Now I like to craft with multi-purpose liquid glue because if I don't get it exactly in the right place the first time, I have a few seconds to kind of shift and shimmy my paper all around. Oh, you are so welcome. I'm glad you were watching so that I could let you know that I don't have your address. All right. Here we've got our little piece of mint macaron, and this is just acting kind of as a barrier across where our two pieces of cardstock and designer series paper meet. It just kind of makes it look a little more nice when it has that covering where the two pieces meet up. All right, we are going to stamp our cat. Now, we're actually going to use every single stamp from our stamp set here today. So our first one here, as you can see, the stamp has these 3 little hearts, and we're actually going to not use those. We're going to cut around. I mentioned earlier the stamp set does not have any dies or punches to go with it, so we are going to fussy cut, and this is the only one we're going to fussy cut out. So I just have a scrap piece of basic white cardstock, and we're going to ink up, we can move this out of the way here, we're going to ink up our cat. Now I just have a piece of scratch paper down just in case I don't get the whole thing on the paper, but the hearts, I'm cutting them out, so it doesn't matter if they're on my cardstock or not. All right, this scratch piece, I'm just gonna pull this closer so I can make sure I'm on the whole piece of basic white. And there we go. Now I just re-inked up my black ink pad yesterday, so it's all nice and juicy for these black cats that we're gonna cut out here. All right. Now, got a little fiber on there. Now, like I mentioned, we are going to fussy cut the cat out. Now, you can see there's this little ledge that it looks like he's laying on. So we're going to cut around that, and then we're just going to cut the hearts out. When I fussy cut, I like to hold my scissors steady and turn the paper with my hand that my scissors are not in. So for me, I'm right-handed. I've got my scissors in my right hand, and with my left hand, I'm turning the paper. This really helps me get better control of my fussy cutting. I feel like I can get as close to the edge as I want, and it just helps me to cut a little bit nicer than if I were, you know, turning my scissors. Now with fussy cutting, you can get as close to the black line as you want, but I'm just gonna leave a little bit of white space so it kind of looks like it's die cut, but unfortunately there's no dies for this. Now I really, really wish there were dies for the Taco Fiesta stamp set. That is #1 set for me. especially living in Arizona with all the tacos and Mexican food here. I definitely wish there were dies to go with that one, but you can still create fun projects without them. All right, so we're going around here, and I'm just kind of going a little slower. Even though he's more rounded, I don't want to cut the paw off. I don't want to cut the whiskers off. Now when we get to the tail, it's going to be a little more difficult just because the tail is thin, and so I'll have a really thin piece of cardstock to hold on to, but it'll still work. So just kind of round the tail, and like with fussy cutting, you can get as detailed or leave as much white space. I just like to leave that little bit of white space around the outside. All right, let's get that out of the way. And here is our little cat. Now, if you notice your cat's kind of rolls in from cutting, you can just kind of fold it back and it'll lay flat there. All right, we're gonna add our, get that out of the way. We're gonna add our piece of designer series paper to our card base, that backing, and that'll just go right here. And our cat, we're gonna add some dimensionals. Now on the back of the cat, the dimensionals are gonna make it pop up just a little bit from the rest of the project and make it really look like he's just kind of laying on the side of this ledge that we created right there. All right, we're gonna do some punching as well. And where did my white paper go? Did I just use it for my fussy cutting? Because that would be so fun. I think I just used my white paper to stamp. Let's see, what do I have in this card pack that I can use? I've got to have white paper around here that I can use. Da, 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 da. I swear I grabbed like 2 pieces of white paper, one of them to punch on. Let me just grab right here in my card stack, my scraps, white paper. All right, so we have a piece of mint macaron cardstock as well as basic white. Now we are gonna use, these are the Heart Combo Pack punches. So they come together in one order that you can do. It is a scalloped heart and like a regular shaped smooth heart. They are in our annual catalog and they layer on top of each other. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna punch out the white heart. I'll save that white off to the side in case I need it again. And then this piece of mint. And there we go. So we have 2 hearts that layer with each other. And we're gonna use the sentiment that says, "Hey there, Valentine," and our mint macaron ink pad. We're just gonna stamp our sentiment right in the middle of the heart. There we go. And like I mentioned earlier, this set is, this design and this stamp set is really good for beginner stampers. But if you are not a beginner, you're more advanced, you can still step up your projects with punches, fussy cutting. There's some die cuts that we'll be using in other projects. So this is kind of a multi-use stamp set that no matter what your skill level is, you can still create with this. All right, our heart, we just glued the smooth one onto the scallop, and that's gonna go in the upper right. Now I wanted to create some Valentine's Day projects today that aren't your traditional red and pink. I did that a couple weeks ago when I did the Share the Milkshake stamp set, but I wanted to showcase that there's other colors that you can use for Valentine's Day that aren't your traditional red and pink. So we've got a balmy blue card today, mint, this project's mint, and then of course we do have a red and pink card. You have to have at least one, but I didn't want them all to be red and pink. So I'm taking 2 pieces of our white baker's twine, and we're just gonna tie this into a bow my fingers will cooperate. And we're gonna add this on with some mini glue dots. Now our embellishment of the week is the Wink of Stella. If you aren't familiar with what Wink of Stella is, it is a glitter brush. I have no loose glitter in my craft room. Many of you guys follow me know that my husband is active duty military, and glitter is very, very bad to get on military uniforms. So we don't have any glitter in our house. Christmas cards that get sent with glitter get opened outside or in the garage. So I love Wink of Stella because it is not loose glitter. It is just a brush that you can brush right on. So it is got its glitter. It's like a glitter paint. Let's call it glitter paint. So I'm gonna actually use the Wink of Stella on the eyes of the cat just to give it a little Wink of Stella glitter shine. Now with Wink of Stella, it is buildable. So if you don't like the first layer that comes out, you can always add more. But I'm also adding this week, these are the iridescent pearl basic jewels, and these can be colored with your Stampin' Blend markers, but I think they look really beautiful the way they are. They're just an iridescent pearl shine to them, and a really easy way to step up our first project today, featuring the Love Cats stamp set. Like I said, very fun. Definitely not your traditional Valentine's Day colors, but still with the cat, it is a cute way to add a little Valentine's Day sentiment on there. So that's our first project. I hope you guys like that one. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this past weekend, well, Saturday, I had Stampin' Bingo, and we used this stamp set to be able to create 3 projects as well. So this was kind of a play on this project here. So here's what we made, and here's the card here. So you can kind of see the Valentine's Day heart in different colors. It's still a fun way to create. And then this was my favorite one that we made. It is an easel card, so it is shaped like this on the inside. And it's fun because you can still mail this card. It lays flat, but this is like a little cute pop-up. And we used Wink of Stella on that project as well. So another fun way to use the Love Cats in more of a traditional Valentine's Day color scheme. We had Valentine's Day themed Stampin' Bingo, so it was perfect to be able to use those for the projects. All right, our next card is kind of a play on one of those cards that we created for Stampin' Bingo. So again, same kind of layout, but different pieces to make it look like a totally different project. Now this one uses Balmy Blue. And again, I don't often use Balmy Blue, but apparently lately it's been in my color palette a lot. Probably for Valentine's Day, and I like to use it on Christmas cards too. So probably after Valentine's Day though, Balmy Blue gets pushed to the side for other more springtime colors, I feel like. All right, for this one, we have a piece of Balmy Blue cardstock cut to 5.5 by 7.5. So normally our cards are 5.5 by 8.5, but I just took a 1-inch cut on the front to make that little peekaboo on that background piece here. So before we add our insert, we have the hearts from our previous stamp, and we are going to color those in with our Balmy Blue Stampin' Write marker. And I need to get out my Stampin' Scrub because we're going to clean off that stamp really well and be able to use our Balmy Blue marker on it. Now when you're swapping in between ink colors, you really want, especially if you're using black, you really want to make sure your stamps are cleaned off all the way because you don't want to cross-contaminate your markers. Especially with a lighter color like blue, that black is really going to show. So I want to make sure this is cleaned off very, very well. All right, that looks like it's good. So we're gonna stamp right down here in the lower corner. Oh, we'll just flip the paper over, right down there. And I'm gonna get my spare piece of paper out just in case I get not on there all the way. And we're gonna take the brush end of our Stampin' Write marker. Now, Stampin' Write markers are different than Stampin' Blends. Stampin' Write markers are the same ink that are in your ink pads, so it is okay to color directly onto your stamps. I would not use Stampin' Blends on my stamps because those are alcohol-based markers and they can possibly damage your stamps. Now with Stampin' Write markers, you just kind of need to huff on it, and that'll help re-moisten the ink, and you can stamp right onto your project. Now I apparently still had a little overlay here for my previous project, and I have these sand erasers I just got at my local hobby store, but you can kind of get that ink off the edge. But I'm just gonna leave that on there for now. Okay, I think because I need to clean my Stampin' Scrub is why I've got that ring, even though my stamp was perfectly clean. I need to clean my scrub. All right, we're gonna add that stamped piece into our inside of our card. And just so those little hearts show when you have the card closed. So you've got that there and your little hearts. A piece of Balmy Blue that's also from the Gingham the Gingham Designer Series paper. The other side is Petal Pink. So we are gonna add the Balmy Blue to the front of our card. And that'll go right here. Now this is kind of more of an intermediate card. So if you are a intermediate stamper, this would be the next step up because we do have some die cutting on this one. Die cutting, I don't really recommend die cutting for beginner stampers. It can be a little overwhelming. So let's get our stamp out that has the cat kind of draped over the line. I love this one. And we don't need to ink up the whole thing because we're just gonna stamp on our circle. So we're gonna just ink up the middle of the stamp. No need to waste ink if we're not gonna stamp the whole thing. And that's just gonna go right in the middle of this circle. Now this is cut from the Stylish Shapes dies. I really like the Stylish Shapes dies. They have squares and banners and circles, all different sizes, and it works for creating these fun little stitched circles here. Courtney, if the stamp is still a little damp, it may leave a remnant of the darker ink. Oh, yeah, maybe. Maybe it didn't fully dry all the way before I inked it up with the next color. All right, we're gonna add Stampin' Dimensionals on the back here and add that to the card base. Here. I love dimensionals. I find these little pieces all over my house. There we go. And our little strip of Balmy Blue cardstock, this is actually left over from that piece that we cut off. So this is actually 1 inch wide, so another perfect way to use some of your scraps here. This fits right across the front, and we're gonna stamp our sentiment that says, "I love hanging out with you." Perfect for this cat kind of draping himself over the line, and works really well with this sentiment. And I'm just gonna bring it closer. I may be off camera, but I wanna make sure I am right in the middle. There we go. And this is just gonna go right across the front with our glue. And right there. Right. Now, since we have that down, we are gonna do some Wink of Stella glitter brush right in the middle of the heart here. Now with this, because we are coloring on a white space of the heart, you can really build that glitter and make it very, very shiny. Just kind of give it a little bit to dry in between, depending on where you live. Your climate is different than mine. I know here in Arizona, it dries very quickly, but if you are in more of a humid climate, you may have to wait a few seconds in between layering your Wink of Stella. All right, back with the twine, we're gonna add, just like we did on our first card, two bows or two strings of twine that we're gonna tie into a bow. And now another trick with Wink of Stella that I've seen some demonstrators do is they take their ink pad and they get some ink on the inside of it, or they use a ink refill and they paint with their Wink of Stella and the ink color to create a just a colored glitter brush basically. Now you'll only want to do those with like older Wink of Stellas, because once you use one color you can't get that out, so it'll be a dedicated Wink of Stella for that color. And we're just gonna pull our loop, doesn't want to go, and then we're gonna cut the tails together and add this just like the last one with a mini glue dot. Right, and glue dot, and that'll go right in the corner there. Now we're gonna add those pearls again. Now last time I used 3 of the large ones. This time we're gonna use the small ones. These are in our annual catalog, and I like to use the spatula end of my take your pick tool. Come on, because it'll like help it lift up underneath a little bit better than the poke side. And that'll go right. Come on, keep slipping over. There we go. And that is our second project today with the Love Cats stamp set. So you can stamp a sentiment in here, or you can leave it blank. You have plenty of space to be able to write a sentiment. And if you're wanting to gift this with a gift card, you can add a gift card in here with a mini glue dot, and when you close it, you still won't see the gift card on the inside. So a really fun way to give a gift or have a card. Again, non-traditional Valentine's Day, and I love hanging out with you can be more than Valentine's Day as well. So that is our second project today. I hope you guys like that one. All right, our last project, this is more of what I would call kind of an intermediate advanced stamper kind of. We're gonna create our own designer series paper. So we're gonna stamp a bunch of the cat that is this one right here with its upside down. We're gonna stamp a bunch of those, and then we're gonna cut them and create our own designer series paper. What about drops of Wink of Stella on a clear brush with mixed with re-inker but applied with a water painter? Now I haven't tried that before, only because it depends on our ink and what color paper you would put it on. You'd have to put it on watercolor paper, but I would have to try that. Wink of Stella with a re-inker mixed with a water painter. That sounds like a fun medium. I have not tried that before. That would be very fun. You can scribble off the color on your Wink of Stella brush just like you do your water painter. Really? I always was told that it's kind of like, I've never tried it because I'm a die-hard clear Wink of Stella person and I can't mix. I can't do it. But I didn't know that you could kind of just wipe it off and then move on to the next color. I have a dead Wink of Stella that is almost out, and I need to see if that'll work with that. You guys are giving me all these great ideas. All right, Sweet Sorbet is our card base for this one. Here's our sample so you guys can see it. Sweet Sorbet, we're gonna use the designer series paper that is, it's Petal Pink and Sweet Sorbet together on one paper. So it brings in those two colors together. So you get a little pink peekaboo in the background, but then it also has the red to tie it all together. All right, so there we go. Now this is a piece of basic white cardstock, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna stamp first and then we're gonna cut into this. So I'm definitely gonna need my scratch paper for this one. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the stamp with the cat going head over heels, and we're gonna ink this up and just randomly create our own designer series paper. I like to do that. It works really fun. It's a good way to get an extra kind of use out of your stamps. And it's always fun to create your own pattern background. Now I'm just gonna randomly stamp the cat in different various directions here, kind of all over. Doesn't matter if it's going the same way, you just kind of want them all different directions. Now this one that I'm stamping now is obviously gonna look different than my sample, but that's okay. So each time you do this, it's gonna look different. And that is the fun of stamping. Sometimes it just works where it's not gonna be exactly the same. There, so we have our own little fun designer series paper that we've created. Now before I cut this, I'm going to use Sweet Sorbet Stampin' Blends. Now we talked about the difference between Stampin' Blends and Stampin' Write markers. So Stampin' Write markers have the same ink as your ink pad, so you can color on your stamps. Stampin' Blends are alcohol-based markers. I would not use them on your stamps. So just a kind of different way. Now when you use Stampin' Blends, you want to make sure your workspace is covered because it can bleed through your paper and you don't want to get alcohol ink onto your workspace. So we're going to use the dark Stampin' Blends marker. These come in a light and a dark combo pack together. They're meant to be blended, but you can use them individually as well, just like I am right here. And we're going to color in our hearts. And the reason I'm using a Stampin' Blends rather than a Stampin' Write marker, it dries faster here. So I'm just using that instead of a Stampin' Write marker. All right, our trimmer. So we're gonna get our trimmer out. And what we're gonna do is I will let you guys know I use my trimmer upside down. So mine is gonna be looking a little different. So the first one we're gonna cut at 1 1/4. So I may be off camera, but I'm gonna give you guys the dimensions. So 1 1/4. And the next one will be 1 1/2. And then that last piece measures 1 1/4 as well. So we'll have two pieces at 1 1/4 by 3, I think this is. The dimensions are on that project PDF tutorial. All right, so let me make sure. So basically what I'm gonna do before I glue anything down is just lay my pieces out and make sure that my spacing looks okay. We don't want them too far apart, so you want to be able to see that they still line up with each other, but not too far apart where they look kind of awkward. So we're just gonna rearrange everything here, and we're gonna add these down with Stampin' Dimensionals. So I'm just gonna pull one and add dimensionals to the back. And peel all these pieces off and add this first one down here. Make sure I've got it going the right way. Nope, this way. There we go. Add that down, and then we'll peel the next one. Do the same thing with that. Dimensionals. Come on, there we go. Courtney says she's falling in love with Sweet Sorbet. I love this color. It is not as bright as Poppy Parade, and it's not, again, as bright as real red, but I really, really like the sweet sorbet color. And I'm sad that it's just an in color and it's only gonna be around for another year. So hopefully it'll stay longer because it is a great color for Valentine's Day. All right, so we've got our 3 pieces here that we stamped and we've cut. Now we're gonna stamp our sentiment on here. This says head over heels for you. Again, perfect sentiment to go with the cat. And with this stamp, we will have officially used all the stamps from the Love Cat stamp set today. All right, there we go. Now, I chose this stamp set for Stampin' Bingo because obviously we're doing Valentine's Day cards, but I like to choose standalone stamp sets for Stampin' Bingo. They work great for all skill levels, so these projects were made for all the different skill levels that attended, but it's fun to give some love to stamp sets that may not be a huge focus because they don't have those dies or punches to go with them. All right, we're gonna add a little bit of glue onto our sentiment piece. Hi, Elsie. She is watching from Iowa. That is my niece, and she is almost 4. She's gonna be 4 in 2 months. So hi, Elsie. I just want to say hi. All right, and we're gonna add 3 of our small gem or the pearls onto our project here, and then the last one right here. So there is our 3rd project today, featuring the Love Cat stamp set from our January to April mini catalog. It's really fun to see this designer series paper that we created with it being separate. You can still see that it fits together, but you have that little peak of pink in the background with our sweet sorbet. All right, I'm gonna bring in our 3 projects that we created here today. Let me know in the comments which one is your favorite. We have our sweet sorbet head over heels, our I love hanging out with you balmy blue, and then our hi there Valentine's mint macaron card. So let me know which one is your favorite here this week. All right, well, thank you everybody for watching